So, hello everyone. Today, you already know that we are celebrating our CSR week. So, our uh, Corporate Social Responsibility Week at Estis Espace. And today we are having a series of conferences that come into the framework of our project Intertalks. This is a project that we are animating this year due to the circumstances because, well, as you know, mobility is a bit difficult. So we try to make internationalization possible at home. We have very good collaborators as Yudi. Thank you very much for being here today. Um, Yudi works for Binus University. That's the way we linked with him to have today this very interesting conference. So maybe I can let you introduce yourself a tiny bit, if that's okay with you.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Thank you.
Perhaps let me introduce myself to everyone here. Hello, hi, all. Good morning in France now, and while here in Kuala Lumpur in evenings. My name is Yudi, and today what I would like to share with you somehow that could be, interesting topic for those who interested in environmental management science, and what call it logistic and supply chain. So currently, as you know that as far as this, I think working closely with Bina Nusantara, and thanks for those two institutions working very hard to make today event, I think, happening now. And Laura, I think, Satrio, Audi, and all those friends, thank you so much. So I'm UD, and currently as a editor-in-chief, International Journal of Industrial Management, managing editors for journal governance and integrity. And I'm teaching business management, logistics, supply chains, and environmental management sciences. Supervise a PhD and master student as well as our undergraduate students. So as a part of the what I call that distant learning program with Bina Nusantara, so I stay different country with Satru and friends. Instead, those people staying in Jakarta, Indonesia, while I'm staying in Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur. So I guess that's a brief introduction about me. You can browse myself to Google and see that my activities, my current research, and all about me. So I think that's all, Laura, perhaps about me.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this introduction. So actually, I think that you all know what the CSR week, so the Corporate Social Responsibility week, that it's about how companies can have a positive impact on environment and yet make their business possible. So today, Yudi is here to talk about energy management and low carbon supply chains. So I really hope that this lecture is going to be very interesting for you all and that it will help you on your work for this week. So please, Yudi, whenever you
All
are
right.
ready, we can
Okay.
start. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you so much, Laura, again for the opportunities. People, as you know that this event in conjunction with the CSR activities. So what I wanted to say is about our responsibility to Mother of Earth. You can know that many of our human activities, we might thought that everything that we do is quite okay, but in fact it's not. Yeah, especially how do we take care our environment, how do we really responsible about it. And what make this topic quite interesting, we try to link it what will be happen in the future. So we try to foresee what the company really needed and what the things the company need to take care of. Yeah, So as the student, as the professor, as the industry people, we also need to understand what the future requirements, what the future needed, in order to sustain in the market. And definitely, what I'm going to share with you, that's mostly our experience in Asia. So that would be good, interesting. Our friend in Europe, in France, can see that what happening in Asia as well. So my topic related to energy management. As you know that we are very much depends on on oils, the bags, our vehicle can move on and so on and so forth. And some of unsustained activities, they explore our forests, they fully utilize the energy, but one day this can be finished, so we need to think how to again to find the new energy, so in manufacturing normally they comply with ISO 14001. Perhaps now some of European country, they really very strict. Perhaps they encourage the company to employ ISO 5001. So means the company more responsible. So all of us should aware about how important the environment. It's not only thinking about the profits as overall. Yeah. So let me. Okay. So as the part of the scenario today, what I wanted to share with you are some of the highlight. So the first one's about the a bit intro, a problem statement, and why we need really to experience this topic, why we need to concern about CSR activity, why do we need to responsibles, to the mother of earth. And yes, we have to plan about mitigation strategy, and we have to adapt ourselves through the climate change. As you know that now it's not only the climate change happens, it's not only risk can happen anytime, but you know that around the world now been attacked by COVID-19 pandemic. That's another things that make ourselves more vulnerable. And as I told you about energy consumption, how much we consume the energy, our daily life activities, manufacturing, transportation, and all those things. Especially in Asia, they might thought they are rich enough with natural resources, but they forgot how to manage it properly, how to secure the resource for the future generations. Other than that, people, I also will be bring you to the concept of energy efficiency. So these are very important. Carbon emissions, carbon footprint, and so on need to be traced, need to be tracked properly. And to the end, activities in the company, especially manufacturing company, which is we know that upstream and downstream supply chain, like you get the raw material. After that, when it meets your expectations and requirement, you process it. So many process can be A, B, C, D, and so on until could be semi-finished product, finished product, and they leave your company to be distributed to your customer or end user. So you might go through to the storage, transportation until the happy end user. Beside that, people, I my really keen now to share with you about the implication. It's not only implication to the company, we as a human being, as the end user, as the customer, as the educators, as students, as those who are living in this world, but also we have to tell the policymaker what they have to prepare. But the most important for our friends or students, they can foresee what actually needed in the future. Why do I need to study about the environmental management system? Why do I need to study about my responsibility to the world, to the earth, and so on and so forth? And what happened to the direction? So those topics or subtopic that I will bring you, I think next 50, 60 minutes ahead. Okay, people, as a part of reference for these presentations, actually is a part of our research. So we work closely with some professor, in fact, from the France as well, from Montpellier Business School. and other American professor, and some other professor from Brazil, and so on and so forth. So we collaborate, and we see that what the feature needed for our environmental management system, as well as our energy efficiency. To the end, the company might not aware how significant the low carbon supply chain might happen, and how does it works in the organization, how it works in manufacturing. So that suppose can improve their productivity, can reduce the cost, and definitely make your customer happy because they get a good quality product with a cheaper price. While some of us might question ourselves, what does it mean by green strategy? What a company need to think about green strategy? And it is really important for us nowadays. What exactly green strategy? Have you aware about it? Have you understand about green strategy? As some company, when you talk to them about the green responsibility to the mother of earth, to take care of the environment, to be lean, to be green, to be more efficient, yeah, they agree with the efficiency, productivity, but they might question you, what should we do, and what the benefit to us. When we talk to some industry leaders, they question us. We want to adopt the green strategy. We want to comply with the environmental regulation because the government forced us. It's not because of I really concerned and aware how important the future generations that I need to to take care and to keep things for them. It's not only for us, but for our grandchildren's, our great-grandchildren perhaps. Yeah, so we have to think about the future as well. So what does it mean by green strategy? So green strategy is a set of the strategies that you design in organization. Your organizations perhaps might have a few functions itself. For example, like marketing, logistics, supply chains, procurement, accounting, finance, human resource, and so on and so forth. So every unit of organization, they have their own strategy. So the series of the strategy that you had, it should be more or based on ecological responsible business activities. And it should be designed to reduce the cost of operation. As I told you, it's not only to comply with the government regulation. It's not because you don't want the government to fine you because you did something violence the environment, or you don't care about the environment. Yeah, some of the manufacturing companies, especially in Asia, yeah, they after they do some production activities, and after that the wastage they just release to the river like that. So make river become red color, then become blood, looks like a river. So yes, from the art perspective, people might surprise, oh, what is this? But from environmental management system, that's something you should revoke the license of the organizations, and also the government should fund that organization. So you reduce the cost. That's the more important, and also can satisfy all the stakeholders. As we know that the stakeholders could be the employee itself, the owners, the shareholders, and the governments, and definitely society, yeah, end user and society. That what means by a green strategy. All right, people, let me move to the next slide. Okay. These are quite, I think, powerful words that normally we use to provoke our audience, to make them wake up. Hey, guys, let's wake up. Yeah, we don't want you guys to sleep all the time. Just think how to make money, how to promote ourselves, organization, marketing, and so on and so forth. But we forgot there's some elements we call it as responsible. Our responsibility to the earth or mother of earth to take care of our environments. So we are living actually in the vulnerable lands. Yeah, anytime disaster might happens, and we can see that especially COVID-19 and other virus might attack us anytime. You can know that in China now they found the new virus, yeah, after COVID-19. What the name of new virus and how does it spread to the world as well, yeah? And the most important now, how to treat the human healthy life and well-being of millions of people around the world. So we have to think about it. It's not about the country. It's not about the region where do you stay. Oh, I'm in Europe. I'm to be fine. Looks my beautiful country with a good scenery and many more. Yeah? Developed country, they're more interested now to see how the service business can fully utilize. While we are in Asia, we are much and very depending on manufacturing sector. We like or not, we create job, we produce a product. The main objective is to survive. Otherwise, our employability might increase from time to time. Okay, that happens. Hundreds of millions of people now affected by coastal flooding, land loss, global temperature rise. You can see that ice cap melts and sea level rise. You can see that now, in fact, in Gulf countries, that's normally very warm and hot. Yeah, it's a very seldom to have rains over there. It's now appear it's like a snow, yeah, and then quite cool over there as well. And you can see that other countries like Indonesia, yeah, they've been shifted the season for them to plant the tree, to plant the paddies, yeah, they work on paddy field and so on and so forth. Now being changed the seasons. And many more natural disasters happen because of why? Because of these global phenomena, because impact our global warming as well. So people, this Asia scenario, South Asia scenario, you can see that the darkest color of the purple here means that a high temperatures change, while the what I call that the light color might represent that less affected on the climate change. You can see that some of the countries like India itself, yeah, India also quite affected by global warming. You can see now India experience what's called that water scarcity and food security itself. Yeah, so now Indians very difficult for them to find the water. Can you imagine how those people can survive? Yeah, they even cannot find the water. And how do you plant the tree? How do you plant the leaf? How do they plant the fruit trees and so on? Yeah, how do can survive? That the questions. Uh, then you can see that is a Borneo, is a one island, a big island consists of 3 countries, yeah, where Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei Darussalam, they divided the lands according to territories, yeah. So it means that one island consists of 3 countries. You can see that 1950s that look totally green, but now in the 2020 you look this, yeah. So this why, because they cut all the trees. Yeah, they want to build the manufacturing plant. They want to build the housings. They want to build the shopping complex. They want to build the tower to make the country a little bit advanced in the commerce and so on and so forth. So you can see that the process and how this can change our life, how this could change, our way of thinking for the future. Well, as a part where we are come from, Indonesia, this is some, a big issue as well. So I think our students and friends in Europe should aware about this themselves. And, because the country needs the income, some unresponsible companies, yeah, they cut all the trees, the forests, yeah, the deforestations, and after that they build the plant and so on and so forth. So Indonesia basically lost 3,000 tons on the crop production every year. Yeah, you can see that happened 1992 to 2000s, and 3-time annual loss in the previous decades. So rainfall also decreased during the critical time of the year and translate into the to the high risk as well. So the weather patterns, increasing from time to time and difficult to forecast. Okay, tomorrow good rain. Next month have rain or not? So the next 2 months, what happened? So this could bring us to the one keywords in commons and a consensus. We need to take care of our mother earth. We need to educate those industry. We need to educate our students how important the green movement to our country and to the world as well. Right? Well, people, you can stop me anytime if Laura allow. So you can stop me anytime and you can ask me questions if needed. Or perhaps after I deliver my speech, so we can have a question and answer. Well, it depends on the moderator, our friend Laura, to decide. I'm okay. Let me,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
make it.
up to you, Judy. If you want
Yeah.
us to leave the questions for the end, people can write them down in the chat,
Yes.
or if you prefer interacting, it is fine as well. Just
Okay.
let me know what you prefer.
All right. So perhaps if you have a question, people, you always can type. So Laura can help to perhaps to read
Sure.
the questions because
Yeah.
thank you, Laura.
If
Well,
there is any questions, I'll let you know.
thank you so much. Let me
No problem.
continue. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the mitigation strategy and we talk about the climate change, it is a two keywords that always come to our mind. And bear in mind, the more orders, the country, the society, the world, the more challenging tasks that we could resolve, especially in the 21st century now. And the core question now is energy. In some countries, they might thought that they have a lot of oils, petroleums. They're rich enough. They have money to buy this and that. One day, this petroleum can totally finish, and these resources can be, disappear for the future. What happens? How do we move our motorbike? How do we move our vehicles? How to move the trains, the airplane, and so on and so forth without energy? Can we use the water to move our car? Come on, we can't. Yeah. Some people might thought that okay, we use the some liquid and we think how can change dependency on the petroleum and gas to become some things that can move your vehicles. And look at the energy consumption itself. Yeah, we are very much dependent on the fossil fuels, where this is unhealthy. This one, is totally is not green. Could be red, could be dark. You can name it. Yeah. Then looks the energy consumption. When we observed last time, the more developed country, the lesser they consume the energy. Yeah, I mean the energy here is fossil fuels. Yeah, while the more people staying in developing country, they depend very much on the fossil fuels. So for what they need to to make their transportations system moving. They want to make it their manufacturing moving towards certain productivity as they planned earlier. Yeah, so the fossil fuel, coal, petroleum, natural gas are the main source of energy. Produce the vast majority of full electricity, heat, especially you guys staying within 4 seasons. Yeah, it can feel frozen too. So you may need some warm electricity equipment to supply the energy. Some people say that, oh, okay, now let me use the nuclear technology to replace the fossil, to replace the petroleum and natural gas. So some people think about it. And we should rethink our overall energy consumptions and dependency on our fossil fuels. And people world now needs to think carefully, act carefully, how to use energy effectively or efficiently. While we have to think about the clean energy, we have to think about how to develop or how to explore the clean energy. Why we are from business and management, why we are from accounting, why we are from OB have to think about it, why we are from information system, why we are from engineering have to think about it. Let scientists do it. No, that's everybody responsibility. Because our accounting student, because our marketing student, because our business student, later on they become a CEO, they become managing director. If they are not aware about this kind of knowledge, and then they might lead their company toward unsustainable movements. Well, they only think about the profits. They only think about how they can generate more money without consider the environments. Well, we look at manufacturing firms as a majority of the income to developing country come from manufacturing sector, especially to I think Southeast Asia. Yeah, so we are very much depending on the manufacturing sector. So industrialization has been, the major consumptions, primary factors to increase the carbon dioxide. Yeah. So the CO2 means that the pollutions. Yeah. And manufacturing and industrial activity are among the primary consumers of energy. And if we aware how to manage energy properly in our manufacturing companies or manufacturing sector, so means that they already contribute to reduce the number of pollution in the country. If you went to China, you can see that it's hard to see clearly the distance between the 20-30 meters because full of pollutions. But China now they changed the policy, they changed the strategy. You can see that more professors or researchers from China, business and management, they study about the environmental management system. They study the sustainability. They study activities responsibility to the society. While some people might thought that sustainability means that you have to sustain, you have to survive in long term, while you consider the three elements, the three outcomes. For example, like yes, you have to sustain because of the profits. Yes, you can sustain because of you can reduce the operation costs. Yeah, you can take care of the society, but don't forget the environment as well. So by looking at the four domains, you can adopt sustainability properly. So CO2 is classified as the greenhouse gas and is created by the product consumptions. Non-renewable fossil fuels, petroleum, natural gas, and energy and other energy resources as a part, on their consumption patterns. Well, people, we are now explaining to you that the situations manufacturing sector very much depend on energy. Means that energy that come from our natural resources. So why industrializations? Why the developing country who very much depend on the manufacturing sector need to manage the energy effectively? Yeah. So as we know that managing energy itself is a part of a key. Yeah? It's a one key to open the door. Yeah, the function of the key to open the door. It's like here the key to create more sustainable economic growth. Because if you know how to reduce the cost, how to reduce unnecessary things, activities, how to take care of the environment, you use the recycle ones, yeah, so you can minimize the cost and gain more profit, while you also take care of the society impact, so social impacts and the environmental impact as well. Now some examples, for example, like Nike, yeah, they use recycle leathers to become the raw material for their running shoes. That happened to Adidas as well. Yeah, Adidas, they are working together with I think one of the non-profit organizations. Yeah, that take care the sea, the cleanness of the sea around the world, and these organizations encourage the Adidas to use, the plastic bottles is a part of mineral waters, and they recycle it. And after that, they create running shoes. And you know what? The price of the running shoes is normally about 250 US dollar, or 300, or perhaps can be 700, or more than that. On average, is a 400 US dollars. Now they can reduce all the costs and make the price more affordable to everyone. It's now about 150 US dollar. You can get the Adidas, which is used, some raw material from the plastic bottles. So they try to avoid, the more plastic bottle, and people normally we throw it to the rivers, to the ocean, and so on and so forth. Well, the leaders of the country around the world, they are really committed to reduce the what they call that, the carbon emissions. Yeah. So for example, like I think Germans, they wanted to reduce zero carbon emissions. Yeah? They really committed to become zero carbons in 2050. But it's really hard, to have zero carbon emissions. While Malaysia, last Prime Minister committed to reduce 40% in 2020. But what? We cannot do that. We cannot achieve it. So we have to think again and again. We request the company to send a report to the governments on, energy consumption. We offer to them what we call it as the carbon trading. Yeah, some company might interested, some company might not, but most of manufacturing company, they doesn't comply with ISO 5001, which is the energy management. So it means that those people in industry now not really understand how to comply with 5001. So we need this kind of skill for our students, for our lecturers to understand how to adopt this, how important to be adopted in organization. While environmental damage from the CO2 emissions leads to the climate change, which further, cause the issue on economics, weather. There could be flood as well. They lead to disruptions of the supply chain and operational losses. Now, good example like COVID-19. You see people, most of the country struggles to get a face mask, to cover themselves, to get hand sanitizer, or some equipment for medical staff to handle what I call that, the COVID-19 affected patients. And this dependency on the certain product could be happen if we not aware, if we don't have like a risk mitigation in the company. So now the challenge, as I told you before, the manufacturing company do not willing to share, to participate, to to send their report on how much the carbon they produce, how much the footprint that they produce. And this clearly the country need to have a clear policy incentive to make them aware and encourage them to do this. That's challenge, especially Asia, in developing country, in emerging country, where they very much depend on what I call that energy management system. And to what we understand, there is no a guideline how the organization can comply with the energy management system, and how to to educate, how to train. Yes, ISO 5001, the standard organization have it, but this limited to those who are willing to invest on it. And you know what? The sector, the manufacturing sector, might not really move toward that direction if the government doesn't provide incentive to them. The government doesn't encourage them to comply with that. So there's a mainly challenge that happened to the country. Look, when you look at this scenario, we have energy management, and the objective of energy management to reduce energy wastage. And after that, it's not only about the environment itself. And this can lead to productivity, because why? You cut unnecessary activities. you cut dependency on the fossil fuel. You cut the dependency on the what I call that to unsustained energy sources. So why not you use you know, you recycle again the water in manufacturing plant, because the machine is normally is a very hot and heats to high level. So if they use the water to recycle it again, then they can survive. You can use the solar panel to get some light, you know, shine to the particular area, but definitely you cannot depend very much on renewable energy. And some of countries now is really think how they can adopt the nuclear technology. But of course, pro and con. Some people agree, then some people disagree. Say that, oh, this too dangerous. So the lens, they send the engineers to study about it, but the company, we as the business management background, we should aware how we can handle this issue as well, and can improve the operation of the company, and definitely can minimize the environmental impacts to the society. Well, we come out with the ideas of low carbon energy. We work together with the various researchers around the world. We found that low carbon supply chain can help the organization to maintain. If you take care of your own organization, perhaps you only produce or manufacture a product, so you can take care. But what if you have a set of a supply chain? Start from upstream to downstream. Start from the raw material, you process it, and after that, it become a semi-finished product, and you keep it storage. You distribute it, you know, among your distribution channel. You use the direct build to order, perhaps a build to keep or storage, and any strategy. And in the end, you have to make your end user or your customer happy with the quality and the price. So how do we manage those people in our supply chain system? So we try to conceptualize it, how we define the low carbon supply chains in our research. So we published in the Journal of Cleaner Productions, one of a top journal in the world on sustainability. Yeah, so we're able to publish on that, and we define that low carbon supply chain is the strategic, environmentally aligned initiative. So look at here, it's a strategic, means that this is a long-term commitment. You should involve the top management to be, really care about it. And you cannot initiate by your own employees or unit or what without, support from your top management. So environmentally aligned initiative that aim to achieve operational excellence is no longer to achieve productivity itself, not only to look at the optimization of your productions, but operational excellence. Excellence means that exceed the expectation, exceed the KPI that been derived by other organizations. And of course, you can reduce the cost, yeah, and you can focus more to energy efficiency. How do we measure the energy efficiency? Is there any indicators to measure? Yes, there is a specific technical measurement to indicate whether you consume a lot of energy or you might not really, that much to consume it. How much you save the energy from time to time. In Malaysia itself, the government promotes the energy efficiency, so they encourage the household to install the solar panel. I guess Europe as well, that happened long time ago. So when you install the solar panels in double storage house, and then you can use that energy for your own consumption. But if you can keep less, then you can sell back to the governments, yeah. So to electricity company. So these, the objective to include the low carbon emissions, yeah. And we find it 4 domains is very important for the low carbon supply chain that we need to take care. First is procurement, means that purchasing. If you identify the what I call raw material, you ensure that, and you talk with a vendor, how much they consume the energy itself. You look at now in Europe, UK, think I found it last time in South Korea as well. And so certain product they now come up with the logo, energy carbon consumptions in their logo, in their what they call packaging as well. So this is important, how much the energy and what's the level of energy that they consume. So they are 5-star. Yeah? So that can be strategy can be looked at in this. And after that, production process in the company, in the shop floor, you have many machineries, you have a lot of processes. So how you can simplify this, and how you can put some machineries in the rest, and perhaps you can use other creativity to ensure that you can reduce energy. Yes, you depend very much on it, but always we are, as human being, we have ability to think creatively how to come out with a low energy and perhaps reduce the cost. Yeah, and the product itself, and also logistic. When you talk about logistic, means that consider about transportations, consider about your storage, consider the inventory, and so on and so forth. So people, to help to ensure the successful low carbon supply chains, the firm need to communicate. There is a soft skill needed for the organizations. So means the soft skill here, the ability to communicate, the ability to convey to the people, to share, to work together, to integrate their business process so they can monitor. As we can see now, some company keen enough to adopt the industrial revolutions. Yeah, so they start to change automation system. Yeah, and they put less dependency on the humans for electricity as well. So they employ the artificial intelligence (AI), yeah, to decide, to give them the better alternative solutions for the company to make decisions. And of course, we have to communicate to our supply chains network as well, and to respond to market demand while making fast, accurate business decisions. Well, people, we need a very clear directions for low carbon supply chains itself, and to address the issues in organization, to address issues in the society. Yes, because later on, when you graduate, you're looking for a job. Yeah, perhaps you might not only work in Europe territory. Perhaps the company send you to Africa. The company send you to the Gulf countries. The company send you to Asia to lead the organization. You can become regional manager, can become a global manager. Yeah, I believe that those students who's really smart, and once they graduate and they find a good job, and they can grow. But important for them to understand, yeah, what is low carbon supply chain and why is this really needed. Well, as I promised to you, how to predict, how to foresee the trend, the thematic trend, to see that what will be happen in the future. So we use bibliometric procedure, yeah. So and the social network analysis. We try to link it one to another, and to see that how those the thematics linkage one to another. We are using the Mendeley. We generate Scopus articles published, and ISI as well in the very reputable journals. And then after that, we use the Force Viewer to clustering those publications. This is a kind of research process that we done so far. For the stage one, as you know that we select, yeah, quite a lot of papers, and after that we check is there any duplicative issue, and we don't want to use the Google Scholar, because the Google Scholar for our understanding might not really have a good quality papers, yeah, while the Scopus Index and ISI or Web of Science related, they are really select the best paper can be published, while the scholars, Google Scholars, undergraduate students, diploma student, or some people who keen enough to share their work can publish, yeah, perhaps without any peer review process. So we select it, and after that we look at the frequency, or how many times it appear, Then after that, we are couplings. Yeah, we see the match, we analyze it. Then we in the step 4, and then we look at the findings, and we try to answer our research questions, and we look what the current research get and the future direction. Well, this is a part of the thematics finding that we found. We utilize the network visualizations, the frequency, how many times they appears. So what we found is the supply chain is very critical rules to ensure that our responsibility to the earth, become more important. And after that, the supply chain can lead to management model, how to achieve the optimizations, design, energy, and look, people. China is appear in this keyword as well. So why China? Last time because the China, is like a factory for everybody in the world. You look at your phone, perhaps American brand, but that smartphone produced in China, Taiwan, and others. So we found a 6R cluster. You can see that the darkest red here is supply chains, and after that we move to the green, which is energy. So some people might look at the biomass, from what I call that, from the wastage of the palm oil plantations. They recycle it again, and then they come up with a new energy that they found. They call it as a green energy. Yeah, and then after that, again, we see that the visualization, we found it still the supply chains play a very important role, can influence one to another. While look at that the network analysis, we found that the country like China, they produce more research on how to maintain the environment very well. They come out with a lot of study on the carbon emission. They come out with a lot of beautiful findings and method and techniques. Before, American professors and researchers leads to the movement, but now it seems like China become more powerful. Then they already overtook the leading movement from the USA. Yeah, and most of the paper published, so we look at from Journal of Clean Air Production. I think those professor in supply chain logistics and those who are keen enough to study what sustainability, environmental management system, we might need to work together and get our paper, our research published in the top journals. And well, anything that we mentioned just now about sustainable development, China, innovation, renewable energy, carbon footprint, a lot of keyword that we found, it's a million keyword we found. And after that, we are sorting, we choose, we select, which all the activities, come to a single direction. We call it as a sustainability. There's a sustainability. Then corporate social responsibility, yes, it's a part of that. If you don't have this sense of corporate social responsibility, whatever you gain from the customer, you have to return back to the society. What did you get? You get a profit, you return back. How do you return it? It's not 100%, of course. Perhaps you can will, what I call that, you can build a school for them, you can feed the poor people, you can support, unfortunate people, and so on and so forth. So those techniques as well appear, like case study, games theory, inventory management, rating system, and so on and so forth. While yes, the sustainability, it become a keyword, it become a mantra to every organization. So you are right, you are lucky enough, you're attending this what I call that event, CSR activities organized by your institutions, and this become good investment for you. It's not only lecturer force you to attend, but perhaps for your own knowledge and understanding. People, I would like to share some implication from end user research and government or policy maker as well. So now let me start with the research implication. And as we see that more sustainability research, more sustainability activities, behaviors, needed, and the outlet to publish your works, the outlet to study, to the governments need this is really big. Yeah. While citations, mostly we can see the journal from cleaner productions, and we can see that yes, the very popular journal, everyone would like to publish their paper there, and we can know that now the ranking is quite high. And another sister journal like Resource Conservations and Recycle, that's another papers, another outlet we can publish our work. And the opportunities for those final year student, master and PhD student, as well as the professors. So we can collaborate, yeah, multidisciplinary research. We can work together with engineering, friends, sustainability, management science, so to produce the impactful outcome. So can benefit our society and as well to bring visibility of our institution to the world. That's most important. So we are working together now to make sure that we have, good visibility, and we work together, become stronger together and so on. And some issues that we look at that lacking of theory, and especially the management theory, how to encourage, how to push the company to adopt the sustainability and what I call that the energy management system and low carbon supply chain as well. Yes, we have natural best resource. We have some green theory to support, yeah, but still we need, more and more develop, and we extended the theory and to ensure that the country, the society also aware about it. What about policy maker? Yeah, we can see that China now they take over U.S. Country to publish more techniques to reduce dependency on the gas, petroleum, fossil fuel, and so on and so forth. They come up with many technology. They come up with many techniques. Yeah, the objective to make sure that we cut the unnecessary one and reduce the operational costs. And you can see that the number of publications. The China, they provide a lot of funding, research grants to encourage their students, they encourage their researcher, their professor to study about it. And yes, the concern about land use, air quality, water conservation, like happen in India. They have an issue on the food security, water security, and so on. Water become something is a very limited. Like Gulf countries, the petroleum could be cheaper than mineral water. So you can see that later on what will happen. Don't too happy now. See another 10 years who will be win the who will be survive. Not about win and lose, but who will survive. So based on our scenario, we conceptualize it. Our energy management system could achieve the energy efficiency and reduce the carbon emissions by adopting a four domain in management strategy. So the first one, the top management should be committed. They should aware, they should comply with environmental regulation, not because of they have to, but they need to be concerned and aware why is this important for them. Yeah, definitely is for branding as well. The customer will purchase your product because you have a good branding. You are take care the earth. Yeah, and then after that, the energy awareness. You need to promote. You need to tell your employees. You need to educate your society that energy is really, important indicator, and we are looking for the alternative one. And energy knowledge is not only to the engineering, management, science people. Business accounting, like accounting now, they are studying about the carbon accounting, how they can transfer, they can sell and buy the carbon quota from one company to another company. Small, medium enterprises could have different demand on the energy consumption toward the multinational one or large company. And not to forget is energy audit. When the auditors come to your company and look at that, how you consume it, how much you consume it, you doesn't give attention to sustainability aspect, to energy consumptions, a reduction that might give a trouble to the company. So we want the industry and government to work together, hand to hand, to design, to get a feedback, to listen the manufacturing, what are the challenges for them to ensure that they can achieve the what I call the low carbon supply chains. And the industry perhaps can use what I call that the public institution, labs, professors, to study on these industrial issues and come up with the solutions. And yes, for the industry, what we benefit on this managing low carbon emission is yes, emerging topic. Is we cannot say it's new. I think Europe been practice this long time long time back, and we need specialized skills, business management, marketing, management, information system, industrial engineering is not enough. You need a new skill that you should able to comply with the energy management system. You should able to comply with the environmental issues, and of course to manage your supply chain. So manage supply chain means that the big system that you have to think about it. The measurements, that's another challenge. How do we know that whether we consume high and low? There is always a debate. When you look at now, people utilize the blockchain technology to record, to ensure the transparency and integrity of the carbon emission or energy consumptions. And management accounting, accountability, on the reporting, also important. You can see last time Volkswagens, they report, incorrect carbon emissions. So they try to manipulate. Some company also happen, but it's not really, appear clearly. That's from developed country. What happened to developing country, which is their knowledge could be lesser than those who stay in the developed country. Well, this is a design that we would like to introduce to everyone here. In order to comply, yes, ISO 5001, there is a books. The guidebook can help you to comply, meet the requirement A, B, X, 1, Z, and then section 1, 2, and 3, and so on. But what we can generate from the report, we found that can be done by look at the four, what I call that, four aspect, like energy audits, management commitment, as I mentioned earlier, awareness and knowledge. This can lead to the ability to think, to create the new energy, renewable energy. You can get the energy from wastage. You can recycle again unuseful. You can recycle again and life of product, and then become value-added product. So that's become an interesting section that we call it as a circular economy. Perhaps we can talk about another movements in the sustainability in the near future. Hope that we can work together. Perhaps this end of my presentation, I pass over to my colleague, Miss Laura, to lead the discussion. Perhaps is there any question that our friends student wanted to ask? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yudi. It was great. Thank you. I actually didn't have any questions on the chat, so I can maybe start with a very simple one.
Yeah.
I was thinking about how, because we have many ideas and many ways to decline the theories on low carbon policies into the different aspects of a company. But if I am a company and I want to change my policies and I want to change the way I work and reduce my carbon footprint, what would be the first step I should be doing, should be taking to go towards that?
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, what the companies should do, first thing, they look at the government regulation. This is the most important one. So they have to know that is there any incentive for them? And is there any, support by the governments to comply those, carbon emission and so on and so forth. But of course, the company itself might not able to invest that much on the green technologies or the clean technology. The governments need to support those, companies, especially the small, medium enterprises, they very much depend, for the government to support them. Like, big company or largest company, multinational company, they should able to do it by themselves. For example, like Apple. Apple, you can see that the box that they produce, equipped with your smartphone, your tab, and so on, that come from their own forest. So they plant their own, tree that can be, replant again, and when they cut the tree, then they can, plant again, and so on and so forth. So they use the tree to as the main resource for them to create the boxes or packaging to support their products. Well, the companies look at the government support. The second one, they look at the regulations to comply. The third one, they should build the expertise. If they don't have expertise, for example, they don't have manpower able to help them to comply, they might need to get an assistant, perhaps from, from the consultant and so on and so forth. But of course, you cannot depend much on a consultant. You should build your own resource. You should build your own, improve capability of your talents. You select those people who have a good background, multidisciplinary background, engineering background, marketing, business, and so on and so forth, to work together and to understand what are the requirements. And perhaps you can, you can prepare your blueprints on the company itself for next 3-5 years, what you should do and what you plan to do. I believe that can help the company to comply. And of course, the company can work, in a good manner if they get the support from knowledgeable employees like everyone in our forum today. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your answer.
Well,
Is there someone else who wants to ask a question now?
am I too fast?
No, it was
Okay, yeah.
completely fine.
Okay.
It was fine.
Okay.
Maybe I wanted to ask another question regarding the communication. You said that communication is really important.
Oh, yeah.
So what are the most important actions or activities that a company can implement to communicate properly about the measures they're taking or they are putting in place?
Yes. Well, as I told you, that could be easier to manage a single company. But if you been assigned or you have a task to manage your supply chain, as I told you, from upstream to downstream, perhaps one company they might have 100 or 200 suppliers to supply the raw material. For example, like automotive, yeah, in order to build one unit of car, so at least they might need to have 1,000 type of the spare parts. Can you imagine that how many suppliers needed? So the communications to update those people, the vendor, how to do it, and so on, is very important. Especially when your vendor, the knowledge of your vendor, the resource of your vendor might not really, as good as your company. So you need to train them, you need to educate them, and the most important, you need to update them in the real time. So one solution I can see here is like, the blockchain technology. So currently we are working on the blockchain technology to help the organization to reduce their carbon emissions and, of course, the transparency. If the governments wanted to audit them, then the government can see it clearly and without any manipulations. So this a platform can be used to communicate and to see that the actual data without any manipulations or any false activities and so on and so forth. Other than that, as you know, now the integration system, you can see that in your inventory management system, you can see that integrated system in your productions system in real time. If let's say my headquarter in the France, while the office or your plant in Malaysia, you can see in real time how much the tire that you have, machine that you have,